welcome back to my little channel. Today I'm going to ask a very simple question. A very simple question indeed, and I seriously wonder if anyone can give me an honest answer. The question is this: how the hell is this not racist? I look forward to your answer, and I do hope you enjoy the video. And criticism, as always, is more than welcome. This is normally something I will say in the end, but maybe it gives people a reason to watch a little bit longer. I am not against black people. I do not believe in race realism. But how is this not racist again?
This is like heaven right now.
Yeah.
Alexis Bromley is from Nebraska. She needed a break from white people.
In Omaha, it's very segregated. It can be very isolating if you're a person of color. It's hard in Nebraska because it's a red state. And so you just don't know who you interact with on a daily basis, if they believe that you're lesser, if you're inferior, and how that in turn can affect me.
You know, I'm sorry that you're not feeling at home in Omaha. I can't understand why, because Omaha did vote for Barack Obama. So I don't think that the Omaha state is as racist as you would like us to believe. Now, okay, they didn't vote for Clinton, but then again, a lot of people didn't vote for Clinton. A lot of states didn't vote for Clinton. But you still like to blame your fellow citizens because they're white? See, now, the thing is, there might be people who might not like you. Hell, there are people who don't like me. There are white people who don't like me, and I'm considered white by most. Should I now also claim that I don't know who to trust? This is, You're really pushing the victim narrative here, aren't you?
She says the current political climate has only made these feelings worse. So she decided to go on a Women of Color healing retreat in Costa Rica.
Yeah, because nothing says let's integrate by segregating yourself. No, wait. Did I? Doesn't sound right.
Hi, such beautiful smiles. Thank you guys so much for coming. My blackness is bold.
My blackness is uninhibited.
My blackness is strength.
You know, there's this saying that beauty comes from within, and I actually do think this is true. I also think this is true for wisdom and for being secure in who you are, and in a way, strength and all these things. So why are you thinking that all your positive attributes come from you being black? Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think it's bad that you're black. I mean, everyone has a skin color. Some have several. But it doesn't define who you are. If you only see your skin color as your defining attribute, sorry for the misspeaking there, then you're really shallow.
The idea is simple. For 10 days, black women come together to eat vegan food, meditate, do yoga.
To me, this is funny. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't mind people meditating, I don't mind people eating vegan food, and I don't mind people doing yoga. But meditation is something that comes from the Asian cultures. Yoga is an Indian cultural thing. And vegan food, well, again, this is mostly Asian. I mean, the rest of the world, we like our meat now, don't we? So how is this not cultural appropriation? Again, I don't give a fuck whether it is or not. But this whole virtue signal is based on cultural appropriation and segregation. Aren't those two things bad?
The breath in is the reminder that we are safe.
And to discuss the frustrations of being black in America.
And you look at the position of black people in America from a viewpoint of Malcolm X. Not from Martin Luther King, Reverend Martin Luther King. No, Malcolm X. The one who said that there is no such thing as a white ally. He doesn't trust them. Oh yeah, sure, they can help, but he doesn't trust them. That Malcolm X. And that's how you want to see what you can do to integrate? Really? Wow. And funny enough, this is ignoring that Malcolm X is a Muslim. Well, was. And in Islam, the position of the black man is quite simple. If you're not a Muslim, you're a slave. That Malcolm X. I can't believe the stupidity of this.
It's like a mental game all the time, and I'm in these spaces where, you know, constantly getting poked and prodded. Oh, let me touch your hair. Oh, you're really pretty for a black girl.
Black people don't exercise. Black people don't hike. People are automatically gonna have this perception of me before I even open my mouth.
So many people's ideologies are being validated that don't see us as human, that don't see us as people.
Yeah, this retreat is going to do wonders for your... You know, you do understand that when you put people together and bitch and moan about everything that they feel that is wrong, but they agree with each other, the only thing that will happen is that they will feel enforced in their beliefs. You really don't see why this is a bad idea?
This retreat is one of more than a dozen Black-owned travel groups, marketing trips specifically to people who look like Alexis. In the few years that most of these companies have been open, more and more clients are calling them up. At least 5 say they've seen a spike in interest coinciding with Trump's election.
So, in a resort where people come together to try and talk about how segregation is a bad thing, you will only find black women, and they're there more because of Trump. There are no white women, there are no white men, there are no black men. But Trump is the problem. He's the one segregating them. Really? This is how it's supposed to be understood?
The idea of black women reclaiming control over their own mind, body, and spirit is exactly what's needed to survive in a system that constantly tells us that our wellness isn't important. We stopped taking care of ourselves because we were taught, you don't matter.
Who told black women that they don't matter?
The retreat is the brainchild of Andrea X, a former Brooklynite turned expat.
I left the United States because I was sick of gentrification, racism, just dealing with being this black woman trying to figure it out there.
So you had a problem with gentrification, or in other words, making negative neighborhoods more positive to live in for both black and white people. You have a problem with racism, and gentrification is often seen as the moving in of white people into previously black neighborhoods, which is a bad description, but fair enough. You left because of that, which then would make you a racist, because gentrification means black people move out, white people move in, which again isn't real. But why again did you leave?
I left the United States because I was sick of gentrification, racism.
Yeah, I think you're the racist here. I'm sorry, but if you think gentrification is a bad thing because white people move in and therefore you move out because white people move in, which makes you... You know where I'm going with this one, right?
It was 2014, and she'd just lost her job as a healthcare facilitator. What started off as a vacation in Costa Rica became her entire new life. She used all of her personal savings to form this retreat.
Wait a second. She left the United States under Obama because, according to her, under Obama, a black president, America was too racist. I'm sorry, but how am I supposed to take this serious?
We needed a safe space that was outside in the United States to hold certain conversations and just to heal. I don't think that we can do that in the United States. I think that we're suffering and suffocating and just dying every single day trying to survive there.
And for this, you had to go to Costa Rica. Now, I understand you going to Costa Rica. A lot of people tell me it's the most beautiful place on earth. It's better than Venezuela, especially now that Venezuela became a socialistic shithole. But before that, they were still better than Venezuela. So yeah, I understand that you're going to try and better your life. But funny how that is. You're not bettering your life in, let's say, South Africa or Zimbabwe or Liberia or any of these countries. No. But I'm sure that's just a coincidence.
You know, not every woman can afford to come out to Costa Rica. What can we do for the racism they experience, for women who can't afford to be part of your retreat?
What makes you think she cares? But no, I'm sorry, let her answer.
I think that it's important for people in the United States, Black and POC people, to start forming their own spaces there.
Yeah, again, nothing says let's try to integrate by segregating yourself. The thing is, Rosa Parks sat in the front of the bus because she wanted to end segregation. Here you are advocating in favor of it.
Easier said than done. White Americans find themselves in white-only meetings and places all the time, without even trying or noticing.
Yeah, this is happening far less and less, but it's kind of weird that in a country where you are the majority, you are surrounded by, surprise, surprise, the majority. And when the majority is trying to segregate itself more and more, guess what will be around the majority more and more? This is what you're advocating for. This is what you're doing yourself. Stop doing it.
When Black people want a break from feeling like a minority, they often have to make an effort. Alexis made the effort, and it cost her $2,222. But for her and several other women, that's a reasonable price to pay for a retreat that bans white people.
So in a country where you are the minority, but people are, on average, not trying to tell you how to live, because if they were, then how come the other minorities aren't as affected as you are? You pay good money to segregate yourself, and this is a good thing. Because now you're no longer the minority. I mean, seriously, if you don't want to be the minority, there are plenty of black countries out there. Hell, the majority in the world is not white. Whites are the minority in the world. Now, I'm still advocating for integration. I don't care what your skin color is. I think you should be part of the same culture I am, and if you are, then you're my brother or sister. You don't seem to think that. You seem to think it's all about skin color. Hell, you go to a retreat where people with the wrong skin color aren't allowed. Did you think about that? Seriously.
Would having white people on this trip ruin it?
I'd run my money back. Yeah, I don't think we will be as open and as honest as we are with the group that we're in now.
Yeah. Do you all feel like you've been stereotyped?
One thing I always got is you're so well spoken. And I don't think people understand how insulting that is. What else would you expect from me?
Yeah, I'm not even going to respond to the money back thingy. And yeah, I'm sorry for the woman that she feels that she can't talk when there are white people there. But the compliment one, for fuck's sake, someone gives you a compliment and it's offensive. What, you don't think there are people who are not well spoken out there? You seriously think that all black people and all white people are well spoken out there? But obviously it's not about white people, because white people are the wrong ones anyway. So you think all black people are well spoken out there? Look at this one.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing? I hadn't did a video in a while. I know you all hadn't seen me in a while, so I wanted to do a video tonight. And I definitely want your feedback.
Now, I don't want to be mean, but this is not well spoken. And I know there are white people who are not well spoken, and there are black people who are not well spoken. There are people who do not speak well. They speak slang, they speak dialect, whatever you want to call it. Yet when someone tells you that you are well spoken, it's offensive? Seriously?
I'm curious if it's been no different for you since
it was
the election of President Trump.
We're Black, we knew that racism has been around, but it's a bit more in our face now. It's made me have to pivot my interactions with people and, like, you know, people who actually support Trump. Yeah. Like, I can't trust you on friendship level, family level, any level if you actually are supporting someone that, you know, is completely racist.
Yep, the same person that said she would want her money back if there were white people is now talking about, if you do not think like I do, you are completely racist. Because Trump is completely racist, and if you agree with him, you must be completely racist, guilt by association. Never mind the fact that Trump got an award from black people for being so good towards black people, but then he ran against a Democrat. And whilst running against a Democrat, he talked about, well, black people, maybe you don't want to be believing the democratic narrative that much, because look what it has done for you now. And never mind that. No, he's a racist because the narrative says he is, and you're going to fill that narrative till the cows come home, and everyone who does not agree with you is a racist too. You, my dear, are a racist cow. For fuck's sake, please stay there. Don't come back. And for those of you who are awake, yes, indeed, cows come home. She's a cow, don't come home. Sorry.
Is some of that anxiety what you feel you need to heal from here?
We're looking for ways to coping mechanisms, you know, and ways to take care of ourselves because we're not on the agenda.
See, the thing is, I can understand that you are looking for coping mechanisms. We all do. The thing is, you're looking for it in the wrong place. You're looking for a coping mechanism for a society to integrate toward each other, and you're looking for that in a segregated place. In a place where you are being reinforced with the idea that you're a victim and the other side is the problem. This isn't a coping mechanism. This isn't helping anyone. This is why I'm pretty much sure that most of the people there are racists. Because it's the white man's fault, and maybe the white woman's, and they need to fix it. You had 8 years of a black president, and racism has gotten worse in that period. Never mind the fact that most people that voted for Obama were white. Let that sink in for a moment.
Do you feel like you've increasingly lost the ability to see any shot at a relationship with white people?
Every time I have a conversation with them, I just pick up on certain things that they say, whatever. I pick up on the microaggressions, the passive aggressiveness. I pick up on it. So I decided one day to just eliminate white people from my personal life. And ever since then, my life has been way more breezy.
Do you think it's at all possible that the fact that white racism, white people have sort of made you leave the US, start your whole life over somewhere else, feel the need to avoid them, means that they've won?
They didn't push me out the United States. Because if that's the case, they could push me out of any of these countries because they are here. They're everywhere, you know? I feel like white people shouldn't even have passports because they've done enough, especially white Americans. Leave them in the United States. They do not need to come here. They do not.
They should be even able to travel here.
They need to stay in the United States.
But to a white person who's doing their best to be the best white person they can be.
I have no tips for a white person. My tip to white people is to let us have our space, let us have our room, and go hang out with other white people. We're okay. You know, you've done enough damage.
Okay, the last bit, I let her run. I let her run her mouth, if you want to say that as well. In all fairness, this is where the video of them is going to end. There is still a little bit, but I found it less important. This last bit though, this whole video so far, but this last bit, white people are the problem, leave black people alone, leave their spaces. Why the hell does Europe then need to open their doors for more black people? Why does America need to open the door for more people from other countries? If white people are the problem and black people are the victims, how come the black population is on the rise? It's growing in America. And if it's indeed white people that need to leave black Americans alone, which I don't agree about, don't get me wrong, I think integration still is a good idea, but hey, if you're not part of the culture, why don't you fuck off? There are plenty of black countries in the world where you can go. Hell, you're on a resort close to white people already. I know this because this is what the rest of the video also talks about, but I'm not going to go into that. You will find white people almost everywhere. You know what else you will find almost everywhere? Black people. So either we start working together and living together and blah, 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 or we segregate. Now, most white people I know, even the ones who are in favor of ethno-states, they are not in favor of ethno-states because they hate black people, but they think that a state full of white people is better than a state where white people have to contest with black people about what is acceptable or not. They basically also say, yes, white ethno-states, yes, black ethno-states. Personally, I disagree. I will say, no, the cultural cohesive state is a better answer, where people feel that they are all part of the same culture and therefore want to work together. You're not one of those people though, because you don't want to work with other people, with people that do not think like you. How dare they wrong think? Well, there are plenty of black countries in the world where you can go. You chose to go to a South American country. Okay, well, you could claim South America is black. I don't really agree with that, but okay, that's a claim you can make. But the fact that you do this, the fact that you choose these countries is because you recognize that these countries are somewhat better. You're not going to South Africa. You're not going to Zimbabwe. You're not going to Liberia. And these, in all fairness, are countries run by black people. One can argue that some of these countries are run into the ground, but there you go. Don't you see what you're doing? You're advocating for segregation whilst blaming white people for being racist. And you're being so incredibly racist that I can't understand that you dare make these claims. You are the reason why white nationalism, white supremacy and ethno-state and race realism ideas are on the rise. I keep trying to tell people, no, there is a way we can work together. But then there are people like you. You are worse for integration than Richard Spencer. Did you consider that? Well, of course you didn't. No, it's the white man's fault. And perhaps the white woman's. No, you are a racist. You are vile and you're a problem. Now, I hope you have a very good life in wherever you are. I'm sorry. I do wish you the very best, but maybe you shouldn't come back to America. Maybe you shouldn't come back to any culture where white people and black people and Hispanic people work together. Because you and people like you will start segregating, claiming victimhood, and then all of a sudden demand. In this way, I can understand why you've picked Malcolm X as your example and why you put X in your name, because this is what Islam does. They go somewhere, they claim victimhood, and once they're in power, they won't let anyone else be free. This is what you do. You blame victimhood, and once you're in power, white people aren't welcome anymore. I'm sorry, but you're a racist. And I'm wondering how many people agree with you and how many people agree with me. Anyway, this is where my standard end of the video rant ends. Like, share and subscribe if you feel so inclined. Criticism, as always, is more than welcome. And I hope to see you all next time.